Anxiety, relief in 3 simple steps. Anxiety, stress, anger, and worry are comfortable around each other. Anxious thoughts cause a stress response, and you start imagining terrible scenarios. This can cause you to worry that you may have no way of preventing those negative outcomes. That helplessness may make you angry and lead to actions you regret. This is how a little anxiety can cause problems if you don't handle it quickly. Yoga, meditation, and a healthy diet can help you stress less and have fewer anxious thoughts. You can also use the following simple 3-step process proven to quiet an anxious mind so you enjoy more peace and calm. 1. Recognize your thoughts. The first step to stealing the power from your negative and anxious thoughts is to recognize them. Please don't ignore them. Think about what you're feeling. Then, admit you are anxious, angry, or worried about something. You're not saying that your response is correct or attempting to judge yourself for feeling this way. You are looking on as a bystander watching someone else. Experience your feelings as simply the response to something rather than an indication that your feelings are right or wrong. 2. Challenge your thoughts. After labeling your thoughts without judgment, you want to ask yourself a few questions. Your goal is to challenge the anxiety you're feeling. Anxious thoughts are often generated because your mind always tries to keep you alive. It does this by creating worst-case scenarios in the hopes that they can prepare you for some potentially disastrous event. After labeling your thoughts, challenge them. Remember that your thoughts might be totally irrational and that this is natural. Just because you have a thought, you don't have to embrace it. Ask yourself if the anxious outcome you are considering is likely to happen. Is your thinking rational? Has this happened before? Then ask yourself what's the worst that can happen and what's the best that can happen. Your thoughts are just things. Choose to believe in a thought with a positive outcome rather than negative expectations. 3. Visualize the calmness you seek. Now you want to visualize yourself being calm. Breathe in and exhale deeply and slowly. See yourself with a peaceful smile and calm thoughts in your mind. Create a mental picture of the calm mental state you want to experience. This is a simple but empowering way to limit the negative power of anxious thoughts. It can calm a racing mind quickly and remind you that you always get to choose how you think or feel about any experience. 3 ways to naturally stress less and calm your anxious mind. Healthline is a website that offers health and wellness advice that's inclusive and rooted in medical expertise. On the subject of anxiety, they have more than a little bit to say. They are quick to remind us that anxiety is common for a lot of us because of the busy world we live in. It's not all bad either. It's a way to alert you to possible dangers. Anxiety can push you to higher productivity levels because you prepare to avoid a negative outcome. When it occurs regularly, it can cause a lot of damage in every area of your life. Here are a few ways Healthline recommends naturally alleviating anxiety and stress so they don't become panic disorder or something else equally troubling. 1. Stay active. Get moving. Physical activity leads to physical health. You already know this. Did you also know that regular exercise can be used to treat people with anxiety disorders? That's one of the findings of a 2013 study titled Effects of Exercise and Physical Activity on Anxiety. When you find yourself experiencing anxious thoughts, look at your activity level. Are you physically up and moving around, or are you sitting still? If you are sedentary, get up and get moving. Raising your heart rate makes more space in your brain for anxiety-fighting neurochemicals such as serotonin, endocannabinoids, and gamma-aminobutyric acid, GBA. 2. Limit your exposure to alcohol and tobacco. While it's true that alcohol is a natural sedative that helps you relax, getting too much of it into your body can have the opposite effect. Higher levels of alcohol can definitely cause your body and mind to stress out. The same is true with tobacco. We already know that smoking can be potentially deadly long-term and cause many unhealthy short-term effects. This is due in part to the nicotine and other chemicals in many cigarettes that actually connect with pathways in your brain that are linked to anxiety. 3. Cut back on the caffeine. Excessive caffeine consumption can lead to an anxiety disorder. Since caffeine is so good at altering your brain chemistry so you are more alert, drinking too many cups of coffee can give you the jitters. Caffeine is a proven anxiety booster if you get too much into your body. Drink less coffee, tea, and energy drinks. See if that doesn't help you reduce your feelings of anxiety. Medications are available over the counter and by prescription to help you alleviate anxiety. Seek a therapist if you feel more comfortable in that situation rather than turning to medicine. You can also address anxiety with the natural methods we just discussed. They can help you handle your anxiety so it has the smallest possible impact on your life. 5 activities to distract your anxious mind. Sometimes, simplicity can be powerful. That's the case here. Here are 5 simple activities that can distract your anxious mind and reduce feelings like fear and panic. 1. Enjoy your favorite music. Google the stress-relieving benefits of music, and you might be pleasantly surprised. Stanford University researchers found that enjoying music changes the way your brain functions, much like stress-relieving medication does. Quicker-paced music helps you concentrate and makes you alert. Upbeat music tends to make you upbeat as well. Your outlook becomes more optimistic. Slower music can quiet an anxious mind and even relax your muscles. So the next time anxiety gets a grip on you, enjoy your favorite music. 2. Give your hands something to do. Squeeze a stress ball or do something else to keep your hands busy. How do stress balls relieve anxiety? Giving your hands something to do helps relieve stress and fear in a few ways. The first thing it does is distract you. It puts your mind on the effort it takes to squeeze the ball. Secondly, it can raise your heart rate. This improves the oxygen levels that go to your brain, which is a stress-relieving practice. Finally, you are expending physical energy. Instead of letting anxiety build up, you are releasing energy. If you don't have a stress ball, sculpting clay, puzzles, magnetic balls, and fidget spinners will work just as well. Just keep your hands busy. 3. Smack on some chewing gum. Believe it or not, chewing on a piece of gum can reduce stress and anxiety levels. It can even improve your productivity and elevate your mood. A team of English and Australian researchers noticed that gum chewing creates a lower level of anxiety, a decrease in the experience of stress, and a lower elevation of cortisol levels. Physiology and Behavior, 2009, Volume 97. 4. Get outside. Getting some fresh air might be all you need to address your anxiety. If you frequently breathe indoor air, this can elevate anxiety, fear, and even anger levels. Go outside for a few minutes for some quick anxiety relief. 5. Eat and drink this. Nibble on a little dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao, a well-known stress reliever. Drink some green tea or chamomile tea. Add a little honey to the tea for a double dose of stress relief. These are a few methods for stressing less and having fewer anxious thoughts. Use them the next time your thoughts turn anxious, and you can stop your thought process before it leads to panic, fear, and self-defeating behavior. 7 solution-based questions to calm an anxious mind. It's hard, if not impossible, to focus on 2 thoughts at once. You can really only direct your energy towards one thought. This is why anxiety relief can be possible when you interrupt the panic by asking a question. The human mind doesn't like open loops. It's why you can ask a question to a total stranger, and they'll often respond. They know they don't owe you an answer and don't even have to speak with you. But their mind has been programmed to answer questions, and that's what happens. To calm anxiety, ask some form of the following 7 questions. They give you a question that leads you toward a positive answer. It shifts your focus off of worry and dread and onto something positive. 1. Is my safety being threatened, or am I safe and sound right now? Except in very unusual or rare circumstances, you're probably enjoying a sense of wellness. Your existence isn't being threatened. Embrace that and appreciate the fact that you are alive and well. 2. What are 3 things I am grateful for right now? This question can quickly move you from panicking and anxiety to a place of peace and positivity. Everyone has at least 3 things they are very grateful for at any point in time. This works for anxiety release because expressing gratitude causes your body to produce dopamine and serotonin, feel-good hormones, while reducing the production of stress hormones like cortisol. 3. What new knowledge could help me erase my anxious thoughts? Anxiety is sometimes created because you fear you don't know enough to create a positive outcome. Accumulate whatever new information or skills you need that make you confident instead of anxious. 4. What small thing can I do right now to feel better? Positive actions will trump needless anxiety every time. What is one simple thing you can do now that gives you joy or makes you feel good? 5. How can I look at this anxiety as something positive? If the story you're telling yourself is negative, how can you make it positive? Instead of being fearful of something, you see it as a challenge you are excited to take on. 6. What's the best possible outcome? Your mind is busy wondering what's the worst that could happen, so why not offset that by expecting the best possible result? 7. Will this matter tomorrow, or next week, next year, in 5 years? We often find that our worries are needless. Our fears are overblown and exaggerated. Is this really something you need to be wasting your time worrying about? Anxiety can be defeated by asking yourself questions that lead to positive expectations. You trade fear and panic for hope and a positive outlook. Use these 7 questions to quiet your anxious mind and get you back to producing the best positive outcomes. Living in the present moment can quiet an anxious mind. Anxiety might not feel like a good thing, but it really is. It's related to a natural stress response that wants to let you know that something bad might be happening. Anxious and stressful thoughts come and go all of the time. In most cases, we don't latch on to one of them and give it any significant power over our lives. Then, sometimes we can't stop obsessing over a thought. That is the basic definition of anxiety. We focus on a thought or a belief so intensely that we become anxious. While anxiety is usually thought of as negative, you can become anxious over positive experiences. If you are looking forward to something wonderful that will happen soon, there can be a lot of anxious feelings surrounding that event. Whether you are overthinking about something in your life or experiencing a lot of anxiety, returning to the present moment can help. What are you experiencing right here, right now? It's strange sometimes. Our minds wander even when we are otherwise very focused on what we're doing. Our thoughts might wander to something negative that happened in our past. We might be preparing for something that we hope will turn out well in the future. In both cases, focusing on our thoughts can cause a lot of anxiety. Your best performances will never come from an anxious mind. Obsessive thoughts can cause us to wreck our relationships, finances, health, and other areas of our lives. If you'd like to keep this from happening, embrace the present moment the next time you can't seem to quiet your anxious mind. You do this by answering the following question. What do you see, feel, hear, taste, smell, and experience? You can only answer that question by paying attention to your present moment. This is where your life is lived. It's what's happening rather than letting your mind think about what might happen in the future or what may have happened in the past. Your mind might look at possibilities and reality as the same things, which can cause anxiety. It's normal to be anxious about important things in your life. It's unhealthy when you let a particularly anxious thought linger. You begin to spend a lot of mental energy with this thought. The anxiety builds, and you get stressed out. This can't lead to a positive outcome if you don't address the issue. Returning to the present moment of your existence, you benefit from focusing on reality rather than a potential outcome that may or may not ever develop.